Last night, chosen one, something unfolded in the unseen realms so astonishing that even the highest-ranking celestial beings momentarily stopped what they were doing, their wings shifting in quiet disbelief as they watched the divine sequence unfold. Because while your body rested in the stillness of the night, your spirit was summoned into a dimension where eternity speaks and nothing remains hidden. And what transpired there has already begun altering the very architecture of your life, even though your natural mind has not yet caught up to the reality that your spirit felt. And whether you realize it or not, you have stepped into a moment that heaven had been preparing for far longer than you have been aware of your own purpose. So I need you to suspend every distraction and listen with the deepest part of your being, because what happened in the realm of glory last night was not symbolic, not figurative, not poetic language meant to inspire. It was an actual decree issued in the courts of the Ancient One, a decree so powerful that it is already echoing through every timeline connected to your destiny. And even now, the air around you feels different, because your name entered a chamber in heaven where nothing enters unless God Himself demands it. And when that happened, the entire atmosphere shifted as luminous books were opened, records were reviewed, and every silent battle you've endured was placed on display before the Council of Light, revealing things even you forgot you carried. Yet heaven never forgot a single tear, a single whispered prayer, a single moment where you held on to hope, even when everything around you suggested surrender. And as those moments were recounted across eternity, something unprecedented unfolded as the Almighty spoke words that caused the archangels to turn their gaze toward you with a reverence that even they rarely show toward mortals. Because God declared that the season of testing over your life has concluded, and the chapter you've been wandering through for far too long has reached its divine expiration. And with that proclamation, the heavens stirred like a great ocean, responding to a lunar pull as the spiritual infrastructure surrounding your life rearranged itself in perfect alignment with the verdict spoken over your name. And while you slept unaware, the patterns you thought were normal were dissolving. The heaviness you assumed was yours to carry was lifting, and the questions you hid inside your chest began receiving answers in your dreams, in the sudden calm you woke up with, and in the unexplainable clarity that began forming inside you, even if you didn't yet understand what it meant. Because last night, the realm of God retrieved everything assigned to your purpose long before you were born, pulling it from the eternal archives where nothing is forgotten and nothing is misplaced. And once those designs were brought before the throne, they were not discussed, not debated, not postponed for another season. They were authorized, implemented, and sent forth with a speed that defies natural comprehension, fulfilling the truth that the intentions of God's heart stand firm across every generation, and your life is no exception. So as the council gathered not out of crisis, but out of divine timing, the moment transformed the trajectory of your story in ways that the angels themselves had not anticipated, because they knew what was promised to you. But even they did not expect the sudden acceleration that was released last night. And the reason heaven paused was not fear or hesitation, but awe, because the verdict over your life was not a simple confirmation. It was a total reversal, a complete redirection of the paths that were blocked, the opportunities that slipped away, the relationships that wounded you, and the seasons that seemed wasted, all of which were accounted for in the scroll of your life as every injustice was brought before the throne. Every sabotage that hid in the shadows was exposed, and every silent attempt to bury your destiny was overturned with a justice so fierce that creation trembled. And just when the council finished reviewing your story, there was movement. An archangel stepped forward carrying every sorrow you ever buried, every betrayal you never received closure for, every disappointment that chipped away at your confidence. And the Ancient One acknowledged all of it. Nothing ignored, nothing minimized, because heaven keeps a record not to condemn you, but to redeem every part of you. And next came Michael, the commander of the celestial armies, who unsheathed his sword with a brilliance that pierced through all deception, and declared with authority that the boundaries placed around your destiny without God's permission were illegal, invalid, and permanently removed. And when he said, "No further," a shockwave rolled through the unseen realms, dismantling structures that had remained untouched for years, breaking cycles that you tried to escape with your own strength but couldn't, shattering limitations that were never meant to be part of your identity, and eliminating delays that had wrapped themselves around your progress like chains you never signed up for. And as the atmosphere reverberated with the force of divine restraint being lifted, someone you once welcomed into your life, someone whose intentions were masked behind smiles and gentle words, was exposed before the council. Not so you could hate them, but so heaven could remove the influence they had over your path. Because hidden alliances and quiet manipulations had been interfering with your momentum in ways you were too spiritually exhausted to detect. And when the light of God flooded the chamber, every disguise evaporated, every false alliance dissolved, and every strategy meant to anchor you in stagnation was judged and dismissed. And then Gabriel, radiant as a river of living fire, stepped forward to unroll the scroll with your name engraved upon it. And when he touched the words written across your destiny, the stains of false accusations, distorted narratives, and spiritual contamination vanished as if they had never existed, restoring the purity of what God originally designed, reinstating the blessings that were diverted, and releasing justice over every area of your life where injustice had taken root. And as this restoration unfolded, heaven erupted not in chaos, but in triumph, because what was lost was returned, what was stolen was replaced, what was hindered was released, and what was buried was resurrected. All while you slept peacefully unaware of the revolution unfolding in your favor. And in the midst of this holy uproar, Michael lifted his sword again, splitting apart the final remnants of resistance, while Gabriel's trumpet resounded across dimensions, announcing the liberation of the Chosen One. And God himself commanded that the message be delivered to you before the spiritual gate that opened last night closes, not to pressure you, but to ensure you know the truth about the transformation you've already stepped into, which explains why your heart has felt an unusual stirring, why something inside you refuses to scroll away or disconnect, because your spirit remembers what your mind hasn't processed yet. Your soul recognizes the shift even if your logic can't explain it. And you are here reading these words, not by accident, but by divine invitation into the revelation of what heaven already finalized. Because last night wasn't a dream, wasn't a metaphor, wasn't a spiritual guess. It was a cosmic realignment, and now the energies surrounding your life are responding to a verdict issued by God himself, a verdict that returned power to your hands, restored authority over what belonged to you, exposed every hidden adversary who stood in your path, and transferred keys into your possession that opened doors no force of darkness or human jealousy can ever close again. And even now, the archangels linger near you, their presence subtle but real as they watch to see whether you will awaken fully to what has begun. Because the veil has thinned, the path has cleared. The blessings once withheld are rushing toward you, and the spiritual inheritance that was once delayed is now active, alive, and unfolding in your direction without resistance. And though the natural world may appear unchanged, heaven knows you are standing in the aftermath of a divine decree that shifted everything And the angels are still speaking your name with excitement because they know what is coming. They see the restoration forming. They feel the momentum building, and they are urging your spirit not to miss the revelation that belongs to you. Because last night, heaven didn't just observe your story. It rewrote it, restructured it, and reignited it with a fire that can never be extinguished. And what was sealed over your name in the courts of eternity will now manifest through every layer of your existence until your life reflects the freedom, the authority, and the destiny that heaven affirmed in your absence. Chosen one, your season has turned. Your chains have fallen. Your inheritance has been activated. And nothing in existence can reverse what God has already set in motion for you.